What is the story, folks? You are very, very welcome back to the Iron Mindset with me, your host, as always, Iron Ian. So, I had previously put up a question box on Instagram, as I usually do, and I was asking for some juicy or controversial topics to discuss on the channel. And one of the ones I got back, I was actually requested two different ones that kind of fall into the same vein, and they were basically falling into the category of what are your pet peeves working in a gym with members, and what are your pet peeves with other trainers? Like, what do you see in other trainers that you don't like? This is based on some of the other videos I've made on PTs or becoming a good PT or things to avoid as a PT. For those that are not aware, I have worked in the fitness industry, as in like commercial gym environment, since 2017. Prior to that, I have extensive coaching experience through pro wrestling. So for those that weren't aware, for 10 years on and off, I competed, I traveled around pretending to slam people, and I have been working in a training school to some capacity since 2006, either as a head coach, an assistant coach, in a variety of different roles to greater and lesser degrees. So I've always had to consider how I would go about training a certain individual based on what their needs and preferences are. In any case, that has translated very well into me being a quite well-rounded PT, if I do say so myself. I do occasionally do work with Image Fitness, who are one of the leaders in the country for qualifying new PTs. In any case, I said I would make a little list on some of the pet peeves that I may have. Now, this list is not exhaustive, and I may go off on a tangent in the middle of the video, as I am prone to do. So, and also forgive me if I sniffle or sneeze. I have fucking real bad hay fever, and anyone that's been living in Ireland the past 2 weeks knows how like hot the weather is, and it can get a bit much, you know what I'm saying? In any case, we'll get straight into it. Alright, so I'll start with the members first, and one of the more obvious ones is people not returning their weights. So this is not strictly a matter of laziness, although that is a big one. Like, you must, now I actually genuinely believe most people that don't put their weights back, I don't think it's strictly laziness. I think it's, they just don't think about it. Like, I've done it on one occasion recently, like in the last 2 years basically. The leg press has come up on the abs program that I run, and there's been a couple of times where I've put plates on the leg press, and I'll do my sets, and I'll spray down the pad and the handles, and I'll go to walk away and fuck these plates, I need to take these off. There are certain machines or certain spots that it is easy to just forget. And I do also understand there's an older gym culture where, when it used to be primarily men that trained only, you would always leave 60 kilos or 135 pounds on the bar, because that was usually most people's starting weight, was usually a warm-up. So it was considered good gym etiquette to leave a plate on for the next person, because people didn't usually just start with the empty bar. Naturally, as things have progressed and changed, we have a much wider variety of people that train in the gym, from smaller lads, small ladies, to younger teens and things like that, who they may be starting on a lighter weight, or you may need to strip things back to teach them how to do things, whatever the case may be. So it's always best practice just to return all the weights. Gyms have ample storage, so if anyone trains in FlyFit, you'll know if you return your weights. There's ample plate storage on the sides of the racks on the middle floor. There's toasters, as we call them, where you slot the plates in. They're all along the squat racks on the ground floor. There's big plate trees in the middle. Some of the equipment actually has plate storage on it. So there's really no excuse. So the other big consideration might be that people are just actually lazy, and maybe they're not used to having to pick up after themselves. Just gonna move my mic in here ever so slightly, just to make sure you guys can hear me. So there is that consideration that it's laziness, which is probably a contributing factor, but I do think the bigger one is people just forgetting, or people may come into the gym, especially a commercial setting, and if they start using a piece of equipment that had weight on it, they might just assume that that's how you leave it, and they never make the judgment call that I should probably put some of this shit back. Now, it's very rare, I will say, it's very rare that you'll ever see, a big bar, like a bar loaded with like 150 kilos on the deadlift that's left on the gym floor that you have to clean up. As somebody that works, it has happened one time. I actually, once before, a good while ago now, a guy left 150 kilos or 170, something like that, on a bar, and was on his phone leaving the gym, and I chased him. So I was like, "Here man, you're after leaving that bar down there, you're going to have to go and put that weight back." And he's like, "Nah, I don't have time, not going to do that now." I was like, "Mate, it's one of the gym rules, you need to return your weights." And we kind of had this bit of a Mexican standoff. And he was like, well, then if I have to put back my weights, I'll just cancel my membership. No, he didn't. He just left, and he's been back since. I recognise him. And he does incidentally put his weights back. But I would be quite liberal with coming at people for not putting their weights back. It is a bit of a pet peeve, not because it's a matter of me not wanting to do it, because I'll be frank and honest. The weights you are making a big song and dance over having to put the weights back, like having to put those back, you know, either you're tired or you're sore or whatever. You're hoping somebody else will do it or somebody else will need it. That's trivial for me. I've been doing this in this gym for over 4 years. It's nothing for me to strip a bar and put weights back. I'm very well conditioned to it. So I will absolutely humiliate you, and I will overhead press your deadlift if you don't put your damn weights back. But look, in reality, if somebody needs help, if you're actually genuinely fucked, if your lower back is blown up after some deadlifts or squats and you're like, you know, it's really uncomfortable for me to do this, come and ask one of us. If we're on the gym floor and say, hey man, I'm a bit knackered here, would you mind giving me a hand putting these weights back? No problem. We would never have a problem with doing that. So if you are somebody that is watching that doesn't put their weights back, consider the other people you're training with and consider that they may not actually be physically able. But if you do have a good reason, or maybe you're a little bit blown up after your session, come and ask one of us, especially if you're training in swords. We'll absolutely happily help you put your weights back. There's no shame in it. It happens. And I know for myself, it's always a pain in the arse when you're deadlifting. I have to try and strip down the bar. It's great when you've got somebody else to help you throw the weights back. So yeah, return your damn weights. Next one, not being receptive to feedback. So this is something that is kind of I think I made another point in here. Yeah, it kind of ties into the next one or two. So this is a big one. We teach classes in most gyms, yeah? And when you enter something called a class, usually there is someone that is a teacher or an instructor. Yeah, so this person is going to instruct, is going to correct, is going to ensure you are getting the most benefit out of what you're doing. So a pet peeve of mine is, I've had this happen before, where somebody was performing a movement less than efficiently, and I tried to give them advice on how to improve it, and they just blanked me. They straight out blanked me and kept doing the reps, and I was like, can you hear me? Do you understand what I'm saying? They're like, yeah. They finally answered after maybe 10 seconds, said, do you want to try it the way I'm saying it? And they're like, no. And they just carried on. So this is the point. Walking into an environment like a class, or an environment where there's going to be somebody you know is going to correct you. And I've had this happen before as well. I had a guy get very hostile towards me for trying to give him corrections on how to do a deadlift in a class called Metcon, which is one of the only classes in FlyFit we had previously allowed barbells. And being, you know, Iron Ian, I was trying to give the guy some helpful feedback, and he got super aggressive about it. So again, you're walking into an environment where there's somebody called an instructor, a teacher, or whatever, and they can get an aggro when they do their job. And I know people have this, oh, you know, I felt singled out and I felt put on the spot. And that's also another thing. You can't correct the same person multiple times, even if they're doing a lot of things very, very, very less than efficiently or very incorrectly based on what you've demonstrated. It's very hard to give them multiple pieces of feedback because they'll feel singled out. And this is part of the problem. Our job is to help you exercise and get the most results out of it as possible, to execute each movement to a decent standard so you are getting the most out of it. You know what I mean? So when people are not receptive to that feedback, it says a lot more about them obviously than it does about the instructor. But I do question the thought process of entering an environment called a class and then not being receptive to learning. So if you're a member in a gym, if a trainer is taking time out of their day to come and correct you and give you some helpful feedback, all you have to do is say thank you. Maybe you've got a reason you do it your way, in which case maybe they can learn something. But be receptive to opening that dialogue. And understand it's the same way if you go to a cashier in a shop or somebody stocking shelves and, you know, they see you looking around for something. If they say to you, hey, can I help you find something? They're just doing their job. Do you know what I mean? So it's the same thing for us. All right, number 3. I'm just going to knock these guys out here. Boom, boom. Oh, man. Samsung Notes and the little check note thing. Game changer. All right. Making workouts complicated for no reason or benefit. So people, this isn't just obviously members, PTs too do this as well. People that like to make a workout needlessly complicated for no reason. There's no benefit. There's no benefit to you doing, like, like this is a conversation I've had recently, and it kind of ties into something I'm going to bring up later on. I just realized how many points I have here, and I'm already, Jesus, 10 minutes in. God help everyone that's watching this. There's this idea that everyone is meant to train the same way. So this is a conversation I was having with one of the lads on Instagram about something totally different. But I've oftentimes seen, I think it's a Jason Statham quote, or at least it's contributed or attributed to him, or he's credited with, that you're going to the gym for an hour and a half and faffing about when you can just get in and do the work in 45 minutes. Get in, get out with some form of determination. I'm paraphrasing here. Move with intent, whatever. Yeah, I get it, but this is the point. Not everyone comes into the gym to train the same way, so you don't necessarily have to do that. Like, all right, I need to do lat pull down, leg extension, push up and shoulder press as a circuit. I need to do 10 rounds in 12 minutes. That is not, firstly, how everyone trains, and secondly, has no necessary distinct benefit other than getting everything done really fast. So this is so for example, I'll see a lot of newbies come to the gym and they're trying to do things like drop sets. You don't need to do drop sets when you're still just going to benefit from doing single sets. That's not to say drop sets aren't a useful tool. It's the same with a superset. It's very efficient for a newbie to do things in a superset because it keeps them working for more of the session, which is the point. They're trying to establish work capacity. But it depends on what it is you're trying to do. So for example, if you go to the gym and all you do is squat, overhead press, bent over row, and maybe RDL, that's only 4 things. And somebody might go, oh, I'm only doing 4 things in an hour. But if you are getting very good at doing those 4 things and practicing those 4 things as a skill, you are more likely to get benefit out of them overall than, doing 12 different things with kind of like shitty execution and low intensity because you're just trying to do lots. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to get more out. This is an example I had to use for a client way back in the day. He was squatting he had 3 sets of 5, let's say, and he was squatting 80 kilos. He goes, could I just do 3 sets of 10 at 40 kilos? Sure, it's the same thing. I'm like, no, it's not. No, it's not. You want to do that because it's easier. That's the point, you know what I mean? So it's understanding that you don't need to make working out complicated for it to still be beneficial, especially when you're new. You are going to be receptive to almost anything you do, pretty much anything. I use this idea very often. You could go to the gym and juggle the dumbbells and you'll still get benefits out of that. So I'm a big advocate for the KISS rule. Keep it simple, stupid. Don't make things complicated for no reason. You're just making the workouts more convoluted than they need to be, and you're wasting time. Just go to the gym and get good at the big basic movements first. Your squat, your bench, your deadlift, your overhead press, your row, maybe a power clean, or if you're into weightlifting, snatch, clean and jerk. And then from there you can start to add on to that. Like, again, this is why I always say to people just to get a coach, because it will make life 100 times easier. All right. Now this is a common one. This is with clients, with members, with general public. I get it as a trainer all the time. I'm sure this is one that will resonate with trainers in general. Is people come and ask for help and then either question it. Now, I don't want questions, but I'll get to that. They question it in a skeptical way, or they'll just completely ignore it and continue doing the bullshit they were doing that was not doing anything for them. So people will oftentimes say, I really want to bring out my abs, let's say. So what type of ab routine should I be doing? So I might say to them, well, have you looked at your diet yet? It might be a case that it's not necessarily the workout that you need to worry about. Maybe if you're carrying excessive amounts of body fat, you're not maintaining a calorie deficit, or you're undulating in your calorie intake, and overall you're not actually going to lose body fat. And they go, yeah, but what ab routine should I be doing? Do you get me? That sort of idea. As an aside, no point in you going in and doing 100 mum crunches or side planks or whatever for nice abdominal muscles if you're not also dieting in such a way that would result in visible abdominals. Not that that should necessarily be a goal for everybody. Having abs is cool, but it's a very fringe part of fitness. Not everybody needs to do that to be considered fit or healthy. Since I've entered powerlifting, there'll be periods of time where I don't have incredibly visible abs, whereas I've had times in the past where I would have had very visible abs. But I do feel very fit at the same time. So, swings and roundabouts and all that. In any case, another big consideration with this one is you're coming to a professional to ask them for the professional advice and then not taking it. Now, that's up to you. Advice is free. You do it at what you want. That's no problem. But the bigger piece of this is, if what you're doing isn't working and somebody has come at you with something that maybe doesn't immediately make sense because you don't have the scope to understand it, maybe just try it and see if what they're doing actually what they're saying results in what you're chasing. All right. So this is one for me. So most people, this is trainers and clients, but this is one I've seen: TikTok, Instagram, whatever it might be. People watch a 1 minute TikTok video on, instead of holding a dumbbell in the middle, they hold it out to the edge, or an Instagram infographic about what movements they should be doing in the gym or shouldn't be doing in the gym. And they think these are the big game changers they need. No, what you need with training is consistency. Consistency trumps everything. Even if you're coming in and doing those convoluted workouts, if you're consistent, that's what's going to be the game changer. If you're trying to get bigger biceps, it's not a matter of where you hold the dumbbell. That's like a 1% change. It's how regularly do you train your arms? Are you using like different means by which to stimulate growth in that area? Are you eating for growth or for fat loss? Are you changing intensity, rep ranges, tempos? Are you preventing over adaptation to a certain movement stimulus? Like, everyone seems to think with arms, it's the logic goes out the window. It's 5 sets to 12 instead of 1 day heavy, 1 day tempo, 1 day lighter with more reps. You know what I mean? Loads of different ways you can do it. So yeah, don't assume that every little piece that you read on Instagram or online is the missing piece of the puzzle. Not saying it can't be to some value for everybody, but there's this idea like, oh, I saw this workout on Instagram, I'm gonna try it, I'm gonna shed the fat. You know what I mean? Have you ever heard of intermittent fasting? I read an infographic about it. Yeah, oh yeah, I know. And frankly, if you think that reading a picture will trump years of practical experience, you have another thing coming. And that is kind of the problem. I don't know if it's a human thing, but we have a very hard time differentiating between practical in-person knowledge and, well, I read this on the internet, so that automatically makes it viable, makes it good. All right, let's move on to the trainer part. You know what, I'm going to pause you guys, and then for you, I'll just jump straight to the next bit so I can just sip away on my coffee here for a second and consider what I want to say before I burn any bridges. All right, 1 sec. All right, so we're right back into it. It was literally less than 2 minutes in the break there. All right, so pet peeves, gym pet peeves with trainers. Now this one, is more general. It's not about, like, so the thing with members is that it's from a very specific thing, that it's a very specific relationship I've witnessed with members in the gym, and again, none of these things are especially bad, they just are what they are. So with trainers, these are some of the big ones. Number one is no knowledge beyond their PT course. So PT courses, for those that aren't aware how personal trainers qualify to be PTs, as you might imagine. Now, I've actually tutored or tutored on a few of these. And the knowledge base in it, the way it works is they're trying to give you an introduction to all these different disciplines. So, showing you a bit of powerlifting, a bit of hypertrophy, a bit of weightlifting, and then generally how to communicate with your clients on the gym floor, give you some theory knowledge around dieting and muscle groups and how muscles work, how muscles contract, all those good things that are worth knowing how the body actually functions. But in terms of the practical execution, they're just trying to give you the tip of the iceberg so you can then go out into the industry and get some experience. And you're constantly in this study and action cycle. This is how it should work. So this is the idealistic way. Let's say you start in the gym and you've qualified, you're teaching someone to deadlift or someone to squat, and you notice the person can't really hit depth on their squats properly and you're unsure of what to do. You would then go into a study cycle, which would be, I'm going to learn what are common, roadblocks for people that can't squat. What do I do with them? And then you find a way that person can participate in the squat. And this is assuming the person wants to squat with a barbell, let's say. What most trainers do, though, is they don't go through that cycle and they'll just regress them immediately. Okay, we'll try a goblet squat. You can't do that, we'll stick you on the leg press. Or we'll have you squat in a Smith machine or whatever. So you're immediately regressing the person back without seeing, is there a means by which they could participate in this task should they want to, and that's part of the point. Maybe they want to do this thing. So my recommendation to trainers would be is stay in this cycle of trying to keep yourself up to date. Yeah, so it doesn't mean getting caught in this study cycle, because this happens too, where trainers are like, constantly reading books and constantly looking at studies and constantly watching YouTube videos or attending seminars when there are seminars, and never actually put it into action with clients. Yet you could be the most well-educated, master's degree, strength and conditioning coach, but you've never trained anybody in person, so all that knowledge doesn't mean shit. So try get into action, which most trainers are good with. They'll go and they'll work with people, but then, use those people as a means by which to encounter things you can help them overcome over time, yeah? And again, that doesn't mean read a fucking Instagram infographic. That doesn't mean watch a fucking 5-minute YouTube video on ankle dorsiflexion. It means, how do I communicate to this person that they are capable of participating in this chosen task, and we may use this tool to help them overcome a small barrier that will then facilitate them to go on without it later on down the road. The example I would give is if somebody has problem hitting depth in a squat, but you stick their heels up on a plate, then they get comfortable squatting with their heels on a plate. Maybe over time you either switch to a smaller plate or you just bring them back down to the floor. And I've seen this happen where people that could not squat with the bar at all, they barely bend their knees, now are squatting to full depth with 30 or 40 kilos on their back, and they're fine. And these people would have previously had bad backs, and now they're grand, they're comfortable with the bar, all just through that tool, that method of getting them comfortable with the bar in the back first, and the magic of sticking a plate under the heel. All right. So next one, number 2 for trainers, be not training themselves. This is a massive one for me. Don't talk the talk if you cannot walk the walk. If you're not training yourself, and that doesn't mean you have to be big and muscle bound, or you have to be, super strong or athletic or able to do backflips or muscle ups or whatever, but have some working knowledge in the realm that you work in. So a good example of this is a guy I know that works in Fife, the fitness goose, Andrew. So Andrew is not a big, crazy, muscular guy, but Andrew is a running coach. So Andrew he runs himself. Every time this guy is on damn Instagram, it looks like he's running all over Ireland, and it's really, really cool to watch because it's a whole other aspect of fitness outside of what I would do with powerlifting or conditioning work or whatever. It's a whole different discipline, and it's very cool that we can run these parallel tracks, but we're still using the same principles to teach people. So that's a great example of, he takes part in the activity that he primarily teaches, and then he uses the stuff that he teaches in the gym to supplement things like that. Same way you'll see, give you a good example, there's a female trainer in my gym named Grace, who she participates in CrossFit training. So not that you have to bring every element of the thing you do into your training. You know what I mean? I don't just have everyone do powerlifting, but I'm saying they actually have some outlet and discipline themselves that shows that they do actually participate in the activities to some degree that they're also trying to get clients to participate in. It's like if you go to a doctor and the doctor tells you, you need to stop drinking and lose weight, but he stinks like whiskey and he's got a gut, doesn't really come off as well. You know what I'm saying? So if you're gonna be that guy, if you're gonna be this person, at least participate. Again, you don't need to be ripped, you don't need to be crazy muscular, but at least have some degree of athletic ability, have some degree of strength, have some cardiovascular endurance, and don't just know what you're on about. Actually show that you can do what you're on about to some degree. All right, this is another one, number 3. Trainers love to go online and complain about fitness influencers, and they mock them openly as if they're the problem in the fitness industry, yeah? Yet at the same time, most of these trainers are trying to be influencers themselves. They're doing the same trends, they're using the same tools. You're just not as good at it as the influencers. This is a big problem with fucking trainers. What I think the problem with training is, what I think the problem with the fitness industry is not fucking influencers, alright? Because they're selling a product. You motherfuckers are the ones selling misinformation. And I see that way more. You're coming from at least an influencer. It's like, hey guys, welcome to my fat burner ad video. You know what I mean? Whatever. Or check out these new Gymshark leggings. People know they're selling something. You motherfuckers are trying to play it off like you're the sincere ones. And you're telling people they can't squat because they can't have their toes perfectly forward, or their knee shouldn't travel past their toe, or they have fucking, you've plantar fascialis or whatever bullshit. You know what I mean? You're basically you're creating, you're noceboing people into this fear mindset that they need to roll around on the floor with a rubber band for 20 minutes before they ever touch a barbell. Bollocks. So you guys are fucking worse in a lot of cases, alright? So stop ragging on the fucking influencers. Yeah, they are a necessary evil. They're like the Jersey Shore or Love Island version of what a trainer should be. They're not, but anyone, to be honest, anyone that falls for what an influencer is fucking talking about most of the time, and to be honest, not all influencers are fucking bad. They don't like I'm trying to think of a good example. I don't follow any fucking influencers, but that's another one. Just fucking don't follow these people if they upset you that much. Jesus Christ. But I see people trying to make a whole thing out of hating on influencers. Whatever gets more people into the gym, whatever gets like, people rag on CrossFit. CrossFit has gotten more barbells in people's hands than powerlifting, weightlifting and bodybuilding combined in the past 10 years. So shut the fuck up, alright? In any case, stop ragging on the fucking influencers and just try to contribute your piece to helping people participate in these activities. God damn it. Alright, this is the trainers again, relying on Instagram infographics for their education, similar to the members one we talked about. Trainers will reshare information shared in an infographic about, like, there's one of my favorites is 100 grams of spinach has more protein than 100 grams of steak. I'm like, you know what? If you sit down and eat 100 grams of spinach, I will shake your fucking hand, because that is gross. That is fucking disgusting. Who the fuck does that? Like, don't get me wrong, I like spinach, but Jesus. Like, these sorts of things that people just aren't thinking the full way through, you know what I mean? Sharing, like, nutritional information and basing their advice they give their clients on nutritional information that they read on Instagram. You know what I mean? If you are a PT and you are not qualified, just to be clear, there's no such thing as a nutritionist in Ireland, just so we're all with, or a nutritionalist or whatever. The only registered term in this country when it comes to any sort of food intake is a dietitian. If you are going to make any drastic alterations to your diet habits, speak to a dietitian. Do not ask a PT. What a PT can do is they can give you guidance on helping you adopt, more beneficial eating habits. So for example, encouraging you to eat more fruit and veg, encouraging you to drink less alcohol, encouraging you to drink more water, maybe encourage you to practice portion control, increase your protein intake, increase your fiber intake, maybe give you some macronutrients to work around and see how that goes. These are all things trainers can do. A trainer cannot tell you to cut out all your carbs or cut down all your fat or bring your calories down to this abnormally low range, which people do because, remember, trainers are trying to sell a result. Especially, this is very bad in bodybuilding. Men develop erectile dysfunction, women lose their periods, all for the sake of dropping body fat to astronomically low levels to either stand on a stage or to do a fucking photo shoot. I'm not ragging on those people, that's a personal choice, but don't sell it as fucking health. And understand that the trainer is not qualified to give you that advice. So that's a big one. Again, Instagram infographics can't tell you how people should diet, can't tell you very much at all. It can give you a guideline. You know what I mean? I think the best ones I've seen are calorie swaps. I've seen some good infographics about, like, this chocolate bar only has like 102 calories and this one only has 185 or this one only has 99, so that's like, oh cool, I didn't realize all these foods were actually quite low calorie and there are desserts you can have, so that can be a good one, that can be a useful utility. And then the last big one with trainers is being fucking lazy. You motherfuckers can be so lazy. I work in management in a gym. Now, I'm lucky. The team I'm working with are not lazy. They're quite good workers. But I've dealt with some lazy bastards in the past. Listen, if you work in a gym, if you want to be a successful PT, all the work is front loaded. You're going to have to put in 14, 15 hour days. You're going to have to grind I need to stop swearing. You're going to have to grind to get your name out there and develop a client base. You're going to have to teach a lot of classes. You're going to have to be up early and you're going to have to stay late. You're going to have to make some personal sacrifices. You're going to have to, not play Call of Duty every evening because you have to be up early some mornings. You're going to have to work weekends sometimes. You're going to have to clean some motherfucking toilets, man. You're going to have to put weights back for people and you're not going to complain. And if you do complain and if you think it's all too hard, go work in fucking Nando's. Alright? You don't need to be here. This is the point. This business is tough. You're never going to have a cushy 40-hour week, and if you do, well done, you're a part-time trainer. You're not a full-time trainer. Alright? This is why so many trainers transition to online, right? Which I can understand, though I don't fully agree with. But I can understand the logic. If you want to be that person, and this is one thing I mentioned before for new PTs to avoid, if you've not worked with people in person, you can't be an online coach. You need at least, I would say, 18 months to 2 years of working with people in person before you can make the switch to online. That's my personal opinion. Maybe you have a different one. That's fine. You can be wrong. It's grand. But don't be fucking lazy. Like, there's people I know that come in, they put in their 4 hours of teaching classes and helping out the gym floor, and they go home. That's it. That's their day. And then they're coming in and going, I'm not picking up any clients. I don't seem to be picking up any momentum here. It's like, I wonder why. Nobody knows you. You're here for 4 hours, 2 or 3 times a week, and then you're gone. So that's, like, I mentioned Grace earlier on. When Grace started with us from FlyFit, she came in early, did her shift, and she'd hang around the gym for hours, doing free consultations, helping members on the gym floor, saying hello to people, and generally being a presence, and has now picked up a lot of good business. So that's the point. You put in the work first, and then the benefits come later. And that's part of the issue. Like, don't get me wrong, I get this from the trainer side. It's very, very tough when, to the person you're training, you know, if you're training them at 6 o'clock and you've been in since 6 a.m, that's 12 hours later. And, you know, maybe you're not the most perky person, but you have to remember that hour is the only hour they're getting that day that might just be all about them. So you need to be a smiley, happy motherfucking bitch. Just be like, oh yeah, welcome, hope you're having a great day. You know what I mean? So that's it. And I do get it, you're tired, it's been a long one. So, you know, gauge all that off how much you can work. And that's the reality of it. Some people can put in 80-hour a week, some people can put in 60. Maybe you can only do 30, all right? But you got to tailor to you. But don't assume that, like, you're going to be as successful if you're not around as much, because that's the point. This business is very much about visibility, being around, and being that person. There's a lot of good productive things you can do while being a presence on the gym floor. I encourage people all the time, newer trainers, come in, get your PT, you know, gear sorted, like hoodie or t-shirt or whatever, sit at one of the desks and just do class plan designs. You can write out programs, you can make new playlists for your classes, loads of different productive things you can do while you're in the gym, and you know, otherwise be seen by the members and offer to help the members. You know, we don't have them at the moment, but FlyFit usually does gym introductions, which is a great way for new trainers to get talking to people. Even if it doesn't translate into a client, don't be lazy, get in front of people, talk to them. If you want, like, for example, like, I know for me, like, I usually teach 4 spin classes a week. So if one of the newer trainers says, here, can I take one of those and get in front of people, I'm more than happy for you to take one of my 4 spin classes. You know what I mean? So these are all little ways you can contribute to making yourself more visible, be less lazy, and be more of a proactive member of a team, or be successful in this small little industry we're in. In this industry, people love seeing someone work hard. If you are willing to work hard, you are going to be liked, you're going to be looked after, and you're usually going to be successful, right? Hard work trumps everything in this case. Now, don't get me wrong, there's other things that contribute to it. I'm not just saying it's just show up and just do the work. There's other things that contribute to it. So it's a bit more of a loaded topic. It could be its own whole video of, like, a guide for new PTs when they start in the gym. But if you do have any more questions on that as a newer PT, or a PT that may be struggling, just give me a message and we can talk about it. Alright, so these are some more general ones, and these were started off other conversations I had during the week. So this is a general one, and it's assuming everyone in the gym is there for the same thing. I mentioned earlier on this whole idea you can do the hour and a half's worth of work in 45 minutes. Yeah, not if you're a powerlifter. Powerlifters need long breaks. They need to be more strategic with their execution on what they're doing. They need to be more, what they're training is less about, you know, being aesthetic or looking a certain way. It's about moving a weight efficiently from point A to B as possible. So being as efficient as possible in this range that adheres to a competition standard. If you're a CrossFit athlete, you know what I mean? You're going to have your skill work, you're going to have your gymnastics work, you're going to have your conditioning work. They have all these different disciplines, so their sessions might be like very, very short, or they might be very, very long. Bodybuilders usually split the body up in pieces. Not everyone needs to do that. You know what I mean? So what I'm saying is that there's, like, we got a guy that comes into the gym, puts on a helmet and really break dances on our Astro. So there's a myriad of ways people should train and do train, and you shouldn't assume when you look around the gym, like if you see somebody sitting, they've like their bar loaded for squats or deadlifts, and they're sitting just scrolling through something on their phone, like, you don't be like, lazy bastard, taking 5-minute breaks just to pick the weight up once. It's like, yeah, if it's 250 kilos, maybe that is what they need to do. Maybe they're scrolling to find a song to bring them down, you know what I mean? Bring them down, and then they'll find when to bring them up when it comes to lift the weight again. Same with bodybuilders, you know. People sometimes, you know, don't like that they wear like the stringers, like not even like a tank top like this, you know, they wear like the string tops, you can see the nipples at the side. They need to see the muscles contracting when they're doing like their lat raises, or when they're doing like, I don't know, all the good stuff, you know. So do you get me? Like there's other ways people train, and there's a lot. The irony I see is that most of the judgment in the gym actually doesn't come from the people that are quite disciplined. It comes from the newer people coming in and assuming everyone is a meathead. you know what I mean? Or making assumptions that somebody's sitting on their phone is somehow lazy. Now, don't get me wrong, I know it's not aesthetic and I'm not really a fan of it. So if you're sitting on a machine and you're just scrolling and somebody else is waiting to use it, like, try to get your work done as efficiently as possible. Don't faff around. But at the same time, don't just assume everyone's there for the same damn thing. Alright, this is another general, kind of, I suppose, falls more into the category of trainers, but I've seen members do it too. Creating barriers to participation. So, you know, we need to screen your dorsiflexion and your hip external rotation before we have you squat. We need to check your overhead mobility before we have you do any overhead movements, and we need to make sure your core is stable and strong, and we need to do this and we need to do that, and we need to do this 20-minute elaborate warm-up before you can even touch a barbell. Do you know what I mean? Or, wow, you're a runner, I thought you'd be super fit at this class, I wonder why it is you're getting gas. I thought your cardio was good. You know what I mean? Creating barriers to participation. People are telling people they have to do certain weights or do certain movements or do certain things a certain way to adhere to this. You know, you can only squat ass to grass or it's not a good squat. Listen, once the crease of the hip goes below the top of the knee, it's pretty much good with me. In fact, there may be even some muscle hypertrophy effects that happen above that. So not everyone has to squat to the same depth unless you're a power lifter or a weightlifter or whatever, or you squat to a standard for a certain reason. So don't arbitrarily hold people up to this standard just because that's what you think everybody should do. And that's a tough one for people. It's very hard when you're standing in your own wind tunnel and you're like, this is the correct way and there's no other way. The most important thing is people are going and participating. You know, same with, like, let's say using machines. And personally, I don't like to put people on machines, especially at the beginning, unless it's a machine that they cannot otherwise get that stimulus. Like, I would sometimes have people do the hamstring curl and the leg extension, just because I want them to be able to do lower body work without fatiguing their back or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, people can become super fatigued very quickly when they're doing a lot of work with a bar on their back or a bar on their hands. So this is an easy, plus with the hamstring curl, for example, we're training a portion of the hamstring that is not otherwise used quite well in the deadlift. And then the quad one is for the leg extension. Again, it's just to get a weight out of their hands or on their back, you know. So there are uses, but like, I understand if, you know, you're a newer person and sticking people on machines for the entire session is probably not a good utility at a time, unless you're like, they're coming to the gym by themselves and you're just playing things super, super safe. But that's when a lot of trainers will say, like, oh, sticking you on machines is a no-no. And I would agree 9 times out of 10, but again, as long as the person is coming into the gym, we have a better chance of transitioning that person onto movements that may be more beneficial over time to them, or at least give them a better movement library to work from. So just getting them into the gym first is the main thing. So I would rather create as few barriers for entry at first and not try to put somebody on this perfect, you know, day one program, and just say, just go and do whatever, just have fun, you know what I mean? And if they feel a little lost, yeah, scribble them up a little thing. But if they want to change a couple of things, like my mom recently started going to the gym, and on the program I gave her, she had overhead press, yeah, with a bar. But it's uncomfortable for her, so now she just does the machine seated shoulder press, and I'm totally fine with that. The most important thing is that she's going, and that is the most important thing in general. Later on, maybe we can transition to a more difficult variation or more complicated variation or whatever it might be, or she can just stay with the machine, whatever works. And that's the point. It's just getting people in there, getting them moving, and getting them participating. Don't hold people to an arbitrary standard just to scratch your ego or make it something that you think is the best way, you know? So same way, like I would say, not everybody has to deadlift and squat. In fact, I see a little bit of pushback against these movements online from some people in the more educated sphere, and they're saying, like, leg press and things are fine. Yeah, sure they are, but it doesn't mean people don't need to squat and deadlift. They can do those things if they want to, and they're very good movements. So it's the same idea. No movement is inherently good, no movement's inherently bad. It's about what you want to participate in and what you get the most bang for your buck out of. Like, I know, for example, I know a lot of clients that like training on the bar because they only need one piece of equipment and a couple of plates, and they don't have to worry about waiting for things, and there's always an abundance of them in the gym. So training on the bar is good for them. In any case, last one then is assuming your way is the only way or the superior way. So again, hay fever. So this ties in quite nicely with the last one. Like, there's this assumption that like I see this in my gym. Like, I get on really well with the weightlifters in my gym, but they have such a superiority complex about everything else that's going on in the gym. You know, they're better than powerlifters, they're better than crossfitters, they're better than bodybuilders, they're better than, you know, track and field guys, they're better than the gymnastics guys. Yes, what you do is good, but you're doing two things that no one gives a fuck about. You know what I mean? Like, that's the joke I like to mention to weightlifters, is that CrossFit did more for weightlifting than weightlifting ever did for weightlifting. But what I'm getting at though, beyond this joke, is that there's no one best way. There's no one best way that just means you are going to look the best, perform the best, feel the best. The best thing you can do in the gym is what you'll adhere to. So whether that's CrossFit, whether that's bodybuilding, powerlifting, weightlifting, track and field, running, whatever, doesn't matter. As long as yoga, whatever you'll adhere to is what will get you the best results. I could write you the best program in the world according to my set of beliefs, but if you never do it, you're not going to get any results. Or somebody could give you a shitty program that you love, that you go and do all the time. You'll see more results from the shitty program you do than the great program you never do. So it's about not creating this hierarchy of things you should do. There's no one thing that's better than the other. You can have preferences. Like, I think it's more beneficial for people to learn basic compound movements first using a barbell or dumbbells, whatever, against some resistance. So knee flexion, i.e. the squat, hip hinge, the deadlift or the RDL, overhead, so they keep this, why am I headbutting my ear to my bicep? They keep this range, and then some kind of pulling movement. So they would be the priorities I would have, and then some kind of core stabilization, like a weighted plank, a side plank, a pal-off press, whatever it might be. We try to get, that's the way I would build the program out, and then some cardio too. So the cardio at the first would be list, low intensity, steady state, just to get people's general activity levels a little higher, and then over time as they become fitter and their work capacity expands, we can do more. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that's the only way to do it. There's a myriad of other ways to do it. So it's about finding what the person enjoys, what they'll stick to, whether it's training 2 days a week, 5 days a week, 3 days a week, 4 days a week, whatever, and try to keep that rolling over time. In any case, gang, I think I've been ranting on enough. There's no one best way. Those are some of my pet peeves that I've had to divide into 2 parts. So I don't know how long this video is going to be. Thanks very much for watching. I'm going to record another one right now, and then hopefully that will keep everyone going for a little while. All right. Cheers, gang. You know the usual, at IronIanPT across on Instagram. If you haven't already, by the way, leave a like, subscribe, please. And any feedback you have about the channel, anything you'd like to see, any topics you'd like to hear discussed, I will absolutely do that for you. All right. Nice one, gang. Have a good one. Take it easy.